I recently moved to Munich just 10 weeks ago to be part of this community specifically. So for me, it's a special day. I've had a very warm welcome since I've arrived in Munich. Have met plenty of like highly talented and passionate people. Super excited to hear as well how driven this entire culture is in Munich. In Cologne, we had a couple of great companies, of course, and we built a great talent pool there. But we never had this like ecosystem, this thriving ecosystem where everyone gets together, is eager to network and jointly bring this industry forward. That's why I moved to Munich, and it has been great so far. So thanks for having me. Who's DeepL? For those who don't already know, in Cologne, that's no one. Like everyone just knows who we are. In Munich, I'm not sure. So let me give you a quick tour. We were founded in 2017 in Munich. In Cologne. See, like happens quickly, that transition. Yeah, it was like a small fledgling company at the time in the media park. Just a couple of people trying to think, okay, like there's all this interesting research happening in AI. Maybe we can do something with it. And turns out, yes, we can. And very quickly, we developed and launched Translator, which we are still best known for. By now, we serve over 200,000 businesses and governments around the world. We are an international company, have offices all over the place. Michael has mentioned some of them here in Europe. We are also in Austin and in New York and in Tokyo, and basically a global operation at this point. We address 228 markets, which is essentially everywhere. And to this day, we remain the class-leading provider of language AI. So 2017, humble beginnings, I wasn't lying. Within the span of only a couple of months, really, a small but highly dedicated team of research scientists put together DeepL Translator. And this was best-in-class technology for translation back then, and remains to be best-in-class technology for translation today. That is a hard-fought battle, and one that we get up every day to continue to fight. What makes this possible is our drive to take best-in-class research and continue to push the envelope forward there, but combine this with great user experience. So what's really special about DeepL, if you look at all the AI labs that we have worldwide, most of them sit somewhere in the stack, right? Like you have the AI infrastructure companies building data centers, and you have model providers, right? Like people who just want to get the best model out there. And then you have a lot of product development, especially recently. This has gotten a lot of traction. At DeepL, honestly, partly because of necessity, in 2017 there was just no ecosystem. We do everything, like from data to building our own data centers, to creating these AI models and product development on top. We are vertically integrated, which gives us a lot of freedom to explore and dive deep into areas that push the envelope forward, not just like in one slice of the stack, but the entire pie. Since then, a lot has happened. So as you can see, we have expanded scope of DeepL for the entire time. Our focus is on providing best-in-class AI technology for businesses to reshape how they work. Translator is a good example of that. We have done a lot of work to make this more amenable in business context specifically. Document translation is super important. We are leading there and are continuing to push what's possible in document translation as well. If you'd like to learn more, please come and see us at our customer conference later this year. We have built apps and integrations to get the same technology that is available on the web closer to users in the specific environment they're working on. One of the highlights of DeepL is the invention of the glossary. It's still to this day unique to DeepL. So the idea is, okay, you have translation, but depending on the domain that you're working in, there are just particular instances of language that you need to get right, like certain phrases. Find and replace is one way to do this, right? Like if this word occurs, just replace it with another word. Doesn't work because language is rich, there are inflections, order of words, and also like the grammar changes depending on context, so you have to think about something. AI, once again, is the solution, and the glossary is the result of that. Security, we have always taken seriously. It says ISO certification here. By now we are ISO, SOC 2 compliant, HIPAA compliant, like all the certifications that you need to take this technology and apply it in your everyday work. Then 2023, big year, we built our first DGX SuperPod. It is located in Sweden, and that allowed us to take model development that we had at the time to the next level, building our own LLMs, and as you will see for the rest of the talk, a lot of the product development that we have done since is built on this backbone. 2025, just recently, we announced DeepL Voice as well, so take all the work that we have done in this text domain and apply it to speech as well. I originally came up with the idea that this might be worth pursuing, but since then have built a team that, instead of me, drives this forward. And on this occasion, I'd like to welcome Liana to the stage, one of the research scientists working on DeepL Voice, to tell us more.
All right, so let's bring up the next slide, or actually the live demo. So tech crew, maybe you can switch. All right, and can you hear me? Have you unmuted the mic? All right, there's nothing with a live demo you always need. Oh, there's my face, okay. So let's pull these back. All right, and now you can hear me, I hope. Well, that's too bad. So, okay, so what you should be seeing here, maybe you can, okay, do you have the sound on? You know, this is my first live demo, and as an engineer working on the product, this is like, oh. Okay, one more time. All right, well, okay, how about that? I'll just continue, and then after the presentation, I'm gonna pop back in the back, and then we can maybe see the demo while Stefan finishes speaking. Okay, so let's restart. I'm Liana. I'm a research data engineer on the voice team. What you should be seeing behind me is a live translation system. So my speech should be transcribed and translated in real time. This is actually DeepL Voice for meetings. So yeah, what are you going to do? Yeah, I think it's OK. You got to. Yeah, you can just left it. I think you're not going to figure it out right now. OK. So anyway, the purpose of DeepL Voice for meetings is that you can have live translation real time in virtual meetings. So this leads us to the goal of breaking down language barriers real time. Because if you join a call and you don't understand the language being spoken, you can follow the conversation real time and be able to contribute at any moment. So it really breaks down language barriers for these multilingual calls. And as Stefan mentioned, DeepL has developed a really good reputation over the years for high-quality text translation. But it turns out real-time speech translation is a whole other challenge entirely. And what's really interesting about this from a research perspective is this trade-off between latency and quality. So when I'm speaking, you're listening to me speaking, and then you don't actually know always where my sentence is going to go, right? It can go in many different ways. So, for example, in German, the verb often comes at the end of a sentence. In English, it comes at the start. So, like, if you take that into consideration, imagine I asked you to be the live interpreter for a German speaker and translate into English. What are you going to do? So there are two strategies you could adopt here. You could say, hey, I'm going to go for the best quality possible. That probably means I'm going to wait till the end of the sentence before I start translating, right? Then I have all the context I need. I can be pretty confident with my translation. But that means this is going to come with the cost of quite a big delay. And it's German, so sentences can go on for a while, right? You might be waiting, I don't know, forever. So of course, that's not ideal, right? Communication is real time. It's not sequential. We need a better solution. So you could do 180 and think, hey, OK, I'm going to optimize for latency. Every time I hear a word, I'm going to say a translation out. I don't need to tell you, you know it's going to be a terrible translation, right? That's just not how language works. There's not a one-to-one direct mapping between English and German. So what you really need to do, and what we're really interested in with DeepL Voice, and what you should be seeing in all the demo I practice, is that you find the balance between latency and quality. So what you do is you listen as speech comes in, as information comes in, you let it accumulate while you start outputting a translation. And in cases of ambiguity, what you need to do is you need to output a translation that is general enough, maybe you make your best guess, but it leaves flexibility so that you can take the sentence in different directions depending on how the conversation goes. So finding this optimal balance between latency and quality is something that we are continuously optimizing with DeepL Voice. Yeah, so DeepL Voice, since launching, I think in the past 6 months, we've enabled over 30,000 conversations, multilingual conversations across the globe. We support 17 spoken languages. We're continuously working to add more. So I'm going to pop back there and see if I can get the demo started, so you can see it in action while I pass the mic back to Stefan. So Stefan, come on out.
You know what they say about live demos, right? So pull one out for the demo gods. I'm sure Liana will get it working just a minute from now, and then we can do this in parallel. My favorite part of working at DeepL is that we take the future, kicking, screaming, biting, and drag it closer to the present. We've done this with Translator, where the idea wasn't new, right? Like having a universal translator has been around for as long as computers have been around. In fact, it was like one of the very first applications of not only AI, but computer science in back in the Cold War. Like the need was apparent, but it just wasn't never good enough to actually work. And in 2017, we changed that, and we continue to change that. For DeepL Voice, it's like a similar moment in time. We are now at a place where live speech-to-speech translation that doesn't just work on a demo stage, but it works in reality, right? On your local markets, in your business meetings. This is now becoming possible, and that's exactly what we're doing. Similarly, just last week, we have announced that, well, not only did we build a new supercomputer to power all of this, see our tech blogs if you'd like to know more, we've also built our own agent. And again, like we want to take technology that is in its infancy and is like beginning to show promises and put it all the way to business-critical applications. With DeepL Agents, we have taken a very aggressive stance on how agents should work, taking the notion that we have synthetic artificial intelligence very seriously and figure out how can we apply this technology so that it has the utmost impact. The way to do this is not to hook individual tools in a chatbot and just call it good. The way to do this is to unlock true human to AI and AI to AI collaboration, and that's what we are now beginning to unlock. Keep posted for more. Check out DeepL AI Labs. We just announced this last week to get all of you a closer look behind the technology that we are building. And then later this year, it's going to be generally available for a lot of you to try out. So for the rest of this talk, I'd like to take a couple of minutes to think about how we actually operate at DeepL. And there are a couple of themes that you will find over and over again. We are in this for the long haul, which means that we can take bets that just take a lot of time to fully unlock and move them all the way through the stack. Sometimes we have highly speculative research initiatives that never see the light of day because technology isn't real yet. For DeepL Right, this was the case for most of my time with the company. Again, like the technology showed some promise, but it wasn't good enough to unlock very capable writing assistants. This changed a couple of years ago, and we are now happy to welcome DeepL Right into the mix of our productivity tools. For voice, again, same thing. We do have the technology, but it needs like this big push to actually make it work in businesses so that you can rely on this every day of your daily work. Similarly, inspired by that, I think there is this tendency in companies to shy away from challenges, especially challenges that are come equipped with a lot of uncertainty. At DeepL, it's exactly the opposite, right? Like we try to figure out, okay, we have all of these great minds coming together, working in person on difficult problems. Where can we apply that brainpower to unlock challenges that are currently thought impossible? So instead of shying away from these challenges, we deliberately hunt them down and try to figure out how to make them seamless. And then finally, if you look at the history of DeepL, if you look at the timeline that I've just showed to you, change is inevitable, especially in AI. This field is incredibly quickly developing. And what you find is that any exponential growth turns out to be more like a series of sigmoid functions, these like stacked S-lines stacked on top of each other. And one thing that I'm particularly looking out for is what are the technologies that currently don't seem to progress very far, but are close enough that we can push them over that edge. That's what we continue to do. That's what we have been doing for the last 8 years, and that's what we will do for the next 8 years and beyond as well, which makes it a very exciting place to work. So if we look at like the large picture, how did we actually do this? In 2022, our CEO, Jarek, got on stage and said, okay, like, we are somewhere in this diagram, right? Like, we are assistive and generative, but not quite. How can we actually push this along those two axes? And what we have done, sorry about this, is come up with this grand plan for the next 5 years, and we are like 3/5 of the way there. So the very first thing we did is replace all of our model development with LLMs. In order to do that, we had to build a new superpod. That's Deeper Mercury that you've learned of before. And then we started building products on top of that, right? Like now we have LLMs, great. We know how to align them with specific individual needs. Let's take this technology and apply it everywhere we can. So Deeper Right came out of this. The next gen translation models that we have, same technology. We have released Clarify, which is an entire new approach how to do translation. So instead of this just being text in, text out, we are equipping you with a smart AI agent that actually looks at your text and tries to come up with all the potential areas and aspects of your translation that could have benefited from more information. My favorite go-to example is, my friend is a genius. Translate that to German, you need to make a judgment call on gender. There's no way around it. So if you can infer it from context, great, let's do that. We have been doing this for 8 years now. Sometimes you have to ask. And that's exactly what Clarify does. And now, of course, with DeepL Agent, we are pushing this even further along, not only helping you to get your localization needs done much, much quicker, but also expand the capability and reshape how work is done. I'll leave it at here. If you'd like to join the course, I joined Munich. I moved to Munich to create an in-person hub. So see our job page for all the opportunities coming your way. And till then, thanks for having me.